Dan is the chapter chair for Dallas TechExecs Network. And Dan, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Very good. Today's topic is what's impacting the CIO's office. And you guys held a lot of conversations with the panelists, Matt, the director of IT for Stream Energy, Darren, the CIO for Picture People, and also Steve, adjunct professor with SMU. What are some things that you're going to be sharing with people today?
We struggled with such an open topic, not just delving right into the hot topics of virtualization and cloud. And so we kind of stepped back and kind of looked at, well, what's causing our peers and in the other organizations to drive to ask for those things, because they just want, can I buy cloud, right? Can I put everything in the cloud? So we stepped back a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's driving people to ask those questions. We'll have some interesting perspectives, and then we'll have some examples of what we've done to try to implement and support those catchphrases, but also solve the underlying problem that a lot of our peers and executives have. I think taking the catchphrase and the cliches and probably in some cases get back to the basics. So some of the interesting comments of a cloud or virtualization is really operational efficiency. Whether it's cloud or whether it's virtualization or whether it's other standard things that we do, they're really looking for operational efficiencies, and they kind of expect that. They also are welcoming more the idea and understanding that we need to prioritize across the organization, not just within IT, not just within business. And those are underlying and broader problems that are typical and have been typical problems for decades, but they're more acceptance and probably more understanding that we need to do it as a team now across not just IT.
He's Darren. He's the CIO for Picture People. Good morning.
Good morning.
Darren, you're going to be on our CIO panel this morning, and what are you going to be sharing with people?
Right now, the real focus of the presentation is really going to be around what are the issues facing the CIO office, and that's really a difficult to get your arms around. So we're going to try to reach out to the group and talk to them and get a sense for where their sense of things are, and then figure out how do we link those pieces back to some of the expertise that we might be able to share with them. And some specific success stories that can maybe give good takeaways for the overall group to take back and make actionable items back into the organization.
Well, they did a great job. They orchestrated numerous conference calls before this event, so they're very well prepared. Would there be a couple key takeaway points for people that were not able to make it?
Is that the key takeaways really are is that we look at how IT is really needs to become an enabler within the business, and that we need to make sure that we're crossing the threshold of technology and really reaching into the business at the CIO level for sure. There's certainly a place for the technologies, but it shouldn't be for technology's sake that we're actually implementing various technologies. It should be for business and sound business reasons for that purpose, and really not just in a functional operational activities, but also how do you strategically affect the overall revenue and the top line as well as saving costs by finding the right solutions and looking at the different technologies that are out there today, such as cloud or virtualization or SaaS solutions.
I think it's going to be a great interactive panel, and thank you for being on the panel today.
Absolutely.
Matt is the director of IT with Stream Energy in Dallas. Good morning.
Good morning.
Matt, you're going to be on a panel this morning about talking about what's impacting the CIO's office. You guys had several conference calls. What are some of the topics that you're going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about topics that span a variety of different items, such as competitive pressures, what's changing in the marketplace, how does the Office of the CIO need to adjust strategies, tactics, techniques to be able to compete in a competitive marketplace, evolution of customer touchpoints, brand awareness, how do you get your name out there, leveraging different technologies and different strategies to be able to make sure that what you do from a technology perspective can be utilized and pushed out forward to your customer base. The business is seeing advancements in technologies, and they get ideas on what they can do with them, making sure that the Office of the CIO has a voice to basically control what they think is a great idea and what you can actually put into practice. Stream Energy is a retail energy provider in two deregulated markets today, with a national expansion effort underway. ultimately we do power in Texas and gas in Georgia.
With me is Steve Sanazaro. He's an adjunct professor with SMU and also a former CIO for numerous companies. Steve was on the panel this morning that talked about what's impacting the CIO's office. For those people that are not able to make it, what are some of the key takeaways from that?
The key takeaway for this, for me, is about three things. Number one, you got to get on the front end of problem solving. And if you want to get on the front end of problem solving in your business, you have to buy a seat at the table. And the way you buy a seat at the table is you reduce their costs and you improve their reliability right up front. You demonstrate some real value. Then you're suddenly trustworthy in the discussion. Number two, when you get a chance to deliver a solution, deliver it. And that means that if you need outside help, get the outside help. Don't think you have to have all the answers or all the talent on your staff. And the third thing is that when you go on these projects, be very clear what your outcomes are supposed to be and be willing to be accountable for the results. So when you deliver something, they say, well, this is great, Steve, but we expect you to deliver 10 and you delivered 7, so that sounds like a C- to me. And be willing to do that, because if you don't have measurements and targets, you're never going to reach your destination. That's
really great insight. You were a great contributor also doing the discussion for social media, which is here to stay. Give us a Twitter version of the panel discussion.
The panel discussion went down two forks. One was risk and compliance around social media, which is real, but it's just another IT activity. You give it the same level of compliance and risk management you'd give to anything else. The other thing is, how do you use social media to have a dialogue with your customers? It's not a one-way push channel. It is a dialogue, and if you establish enough of a dialogue, you monitor it, you're willing to listen to your customers, you have a chance to increase revenue and improve your service.
With me is Steve Webster, the founder and CEO for Stratosphere, one of our national hosts for TechExecs. Good morning.
Good morning.
So Steve, you were the VP and CTO for BG Group before. What led you to start Stratosphere?
It'd been one of our goals, or one of my personal goals for a long time, to get out and start my own firm. The opportunity was right for us about a year and a half ago. We did a lot of market research. We think there's a nice gap in the market that we fill. Stratosphere is an infrastructure consulting and data center services firm. So two vertical lines of business, one focused on data center co-location and services explicitly in the energy space, and the other on infrastructure consulting, security, also highly focused on the energy space, but also diving down to Fortune 1000 clients.
With me is Mark with IBM. What are you going to be sharing with people today?
So we're going to discuss a little bit around what IBM feels cloud computing is, the direction it's heading, and then some of the offerings we have today that our clients can take advantage of. One of the things we'll be talking about today is obviously IBM's Compute Cloud, which is basically server infrastructure provided in the cloud, certain other hot items such as backup in the cloud, and then desktop services in the cloud. Some of the stuff that's real, valid, and that customers really care about, right? IBM defines cloud as something that's self-service, self-provisioning, automated, able to be turned up, turned down. So as long as it fits certain characteristics, you can call it cloud. But you do have to be careful, because a lot of people just kind of renamed what they were doing last year and called it cloud just to ride the hype wave.
With me is the CEO of Spinside, Rijit. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
What did you think about the event?
It was a great event, very informational, very educational, and a lot of good content. Yeah, the quantity is not the question, the quality of the attendees, and I think I'm pretty pleased seeing particularly the making the connections. We're a Cisco technology development partner, so predominantly what we do is we enable the technology that drives the call centers. So necessarily what we're talking about is, is the IVR, which, necessarily do the self-service, and that's number one. Number two, we actually deliver the call to the best agent. So when you're actually calling for airline ticket, or then you're on hold, so we actually decide who's your best agent, and once agent gets the call, we actually feed the information to the agent so they know who you are. The Spinsci website is www.spinsci.com.
Thank you guys for being a sponsor of TechExecs organization, and we look forward to seeing more of you.
Yeah, absolutely. We're welcome, and definitely looking forward to stay connected.